Welcome back into the second hour of the show. And we told you, being a Monday, it's all about the financial fitness segment. And that is what we are picking up from in as far as the first hour is concerned. And so be part of the conversation. Hope TV Kenya, across all our social media platforms, we are there. We are actually live also on our YouTube channel. That is Hope TV Kenya. And so you can share the link with a friend, with someone you feel they need to be listening to what we are about to discuss this morning. 0708 222 323. That is in as far as feedback is concerned. Any question, any clarity you could be having and you want us to address the same, you can use that platform. And also we had invited some of your experiences for them who left employment and transitioned, and they are now into entrepreneurship. How was that transition? How was that journey? You could share with us the same. And so karibu sana to the show. My name is George Gishuru, and a joy to have you this morning. Not alone in studio. I have a guest who is ready to share his wisdom, knowledge on the same. And so allow us to welcome our guest, Emmanuel, in studio so that he can share with us his wisdom on today's topic. Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning to you, George. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Absolutely good to be here.
Are you well?
I'm really appreciative of the opportunity.
Awesome.
Yes.
And thank you for accepting this invitation on a Monday morning.
I tell you.
You know, usually it's not easy. And so thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
My pleasure to be here.
All right. And maybe for purposes of someone watching us and meeting and interacting with you for the very first time, a brief introduction of yourself.
All right. So once again, thank you. My name, as you've heard, is Emmanuel Mbogoli. And Emmanuel is a business coach.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I do on a day-to-day.
All right.
I work with both aspiring, what I call aspiring entrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, and also growth stage entrepreneurs.
Right.
But besides that, I'm born again. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior, and I'm married, blessed with 3 children, and so I thank the Lord for that. I'm very passionate about marketplace, so that's why I began by saying I currently practice as a business coach, and that incorporates things like being a consultant and also being a trainer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Let's touch a little bit. Maybe it's me who is kind of, old school. When you talk of business coach,
yes,
help us define now this business coach and what it entails.
Yes. So a business coach or a coach. Let me begin by there, because this is a term that, of course, a lot of us keep hearing. And so a coach is basically a professional who walks alongside you on a journey. And that journey, the objective is to be able to achieve your goals. And so you can have a coach in any area of your life where basically you have goals to achieve. And George, just to interest you, I don't know, there's an image that is going around on the internet where they show the coach for the famous world record holder, Usain Bolt. I don't know if you've seen that image.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is Usain Bolt's coach looks nothing like Usain Bolt.
Definitely.
So many people wonder, how is it that he's able to coach Usain
a world
Bolt?
record holder.
Exactly.
Yes.
So a coach is just basically someone who walks alongside you to be able to mentor you, to be able to inspire you.
Yeah.
But above all, also, they do have some insights which you might not be having, mostly through their experience and their exposure. And so now, to bring it home, a business coach is now someone who will be walking alongside you in your journey to either becoming a business owner or what we now famously call an entrepreneur. So that is what a business coach basically does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about your journey. I don't know your journey, maybe briefly, in terms of, were you in employment? Were you and if you are in employment, that transition?
Yes.
So that now we come to the aspect of what really inspired you to becoming a business coach?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, George, for that question. So just to give context, both my parents,
Yes.
who have since gone to be with the Lord, were entrepreneurs. In the 90s, my mother, I would now say she was in the fashion industry, but we all used to call it a stall. She used to operate a stall.
Yes.
So if you remember, in the 90s, there was a famous stall in town called Sunbeam. Sunbeam stalls. I
Yes.
don't know if you remember. It was right opposite where the bomb blast happened. Actually, it was just closed after the bomb blast because the place was really affected. So my late mother used to operate a clothes stall there.
Yeah.
She used to import clothes from West Africa and she used to sell them. So most of my weekends, George, I would spend at her shop and I would see how she would interact with customers. I would see her taking records. Some customers, of course, will not pay immediately.
Yeah.
Some of them will tell her they'll pay at the end of the month. So that for me became my first exposure to the world of entrepreneurship as we know it.
Yeah.
And then to my dad again, I would now say was in the technology field. But in other words, my father operated a cyber. I don't know if you ever used a cyber, George, those days. You know, in the 90s. So my father operated a cyber in Ngumo Estate, which is where I grew up. And so right from high school, George, that was my first job. I worked with my father at his cyber. And so my job there was to help the customers open email addresses. So again, that for me, you can imagine at that age, it really put in a lot of interest for doing business as it is. But at some point, my father now told me, you know, you need now to go and pursue education. So he sent me to college. And so I went and studied. And even I got into the world of working. So I'm a former banker. I worked in the bank, and I remember right from the time I was young, I had not even finished, I managed to get that job in the bank. And it was exciting, you know, being in college. A lot of us, we used to admire bankers. And those of us who are especially studying finance, we used to admire people who then we used to say are working in the big four, if you know the big four. So getting a job as a banker for me was something that, it was a dream come true. So I joined banking and I worked and I enjoyed it. I was in sales back then. And it was interesting. It was an interesting job getting to meet people. And by God's grace, I rose through the ranks. I was promoted to a team leader. And now, as you all know, the nature of a banking job is you are told to always be ready to be sent anywhere. So I got sent out of Nairobi. So I worked outside of Nairobi for a very long time. But to bring it home, 7 years into my career, it reached a point and I honestly felt like my career had plateaued. You know, in the bank those days, we all used to look forward to, there's something that we used to get every year that was called a bonus. And so everybody used to look forward to receiving a bonus. And so when you don't get a bonus, you start wondering what could be happening. So that's why I'm saying my career had plateaued. It was okay. You know, I would say I just felt like there was something more that probably I can try. And so 11 years ago, George, I remember I struggled with that experience, you know, just thinking about could there be something more outside here? And it's not because, and I say it, and I'll say it for the viewers, you know, going into entrepreneurship is not about running away from employment. It has to be more than that. So, and that's why for me I took time, because I said I don't want to leave because I feel I'm not comfortable. So I've written a book and I'll talk about it, George. And in that book I said that what I did is I wrote a resignation letter. And then it was on my desktop, George.
Just there?
It was just there. And can you imagine, it was there for 6 months.
Wow.
And I kept looking at that resignation letter every day. And I did not have the courage to print it.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And so I kept, and the question that I'm sure most other people who are in employment and are thinking about going into entrepreneurship, they ask themselves, what is really out there?
Yeah.
You know, it's unknown, you know, and we
Yeah.
say the fear of uncertainty.
Yes.
So I kept my resignation, but every day the restlessness grew in me, George. And so I remember one day I was serving, and you know, the nature of the banking job is you interact with a lot of people. And we used to joke about it, you know, that, you know, you count other people's millions.
Yeah.
So I became friends with this particular gentleman who I used to serve, and he introduced me to an opportunity. He was in the tech field, and at that time he was working with a firm that was in Canada. And George, what this firm was looking to do was to enter into our market. And the model they had chosen was a franchise model.
Right.
So they were looking for franchisees, so to speak. So this gentleman told me that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's a franchisee of a tech company. And I got interested because it was my first time hearing about this franchise business model. Long story short is we managed to meet. And so he introduced me to this opportunity. It was basically a learning technology company, George. And back then, you can imagine 11 years back, what this company had done is that they were the pioneers of gaming technology in education. So what they had come up with is software that allows children to learn while playing. So you'd have softwares that teach children mathematics, George.
But
while they are playing, you know, so gaming technology was something that back then was not common. So for me, it was interesting. But I'll come back to that because it was exciting for me. And so he laid bare what the requirements were. You needed to put down a payment to become a franchisee. And so I looked at my savings, George, and I realized, and then I went back the next Monday morning. And of course, when I opened my computer, what was on my desktop? My resignation. And I said, this is it. And so I'll talk about it, but one of the mistakes I made then is I didn't refer to anybody. I didn't seek anybody's advice. At that particular point, I felt this is the opportunity. And George, what I did is I just went and now redated it and I printed it. And I walked into my manager's office and I handed in my resignation. And I remember the first time I did, immediately after that, he looked at me and his first thought was that I was going to join another bank.
You had been poached.
I had been poached. So he was happy at first. He was like, okay, where are you going? And I looked at him and I told him, I'm going into business. And he was shocked. And he told me, Emmanuel, why would you want to do that? And I just told him I felt that this was the time for me to go and try something else. And you know what he did, George? He told me to go and continue working. And he told me that he hopes by the end of the day, I will have changed my mind.
So once you change your mind, come back.
Come back.
Wow.
And so I went. And I continued working.
Whole day.
And you are so tense. You're wondering, why would my manager be refusing my resignation? And George, at about lunchtime, he called me back into his office and he sat me down and he asked me, Emmanuel, have you had a change of heart? And he told me something that I remember very vividly. He told me, Emmanuel, the world out there, things are not easy. And I remember despite hearing him, I was convinced, George.
Still adamant.
I was like, this is it. So there's no going back. And so I spent some time explaining to him. And after that, he looked at me and he told me, Emmanuel, I wish you the best. And he accepted my resignation. And that was my entry
into the
into the unknown, into the deep end. Yes, George. So I can continue because that's how I ended up leaving the bank. And I joined this firm as a franchisee. And I remember that at that particular point, my franchise license required that I move out of the country because there were enough franchise holders
in the country.
So what do I do?
Yeah.
I realize Uganda is next door. So I tell them my operating market will be Uganda. And so I buy the franchise license, George. It was a few 100,000 shillings.
Yeah.
And I moved to Uganda. This is a new country.
New country.
I'd only been there for holiday.
But now you'll be operating.
Now I'll be operating. I was in Kampala.
Yes.
And so I was basically moving around schools, trying to sell them the software. And like they say, George, in Kenya, vitu kwa ground.
Be different.
Vitu kwa ground,
Yeah.
that is when you are now ushered into the world of entrepreneurship.
The reality now.
The reality.
Yeah.
Because it hit me from day one. I remember walking into the first school and I looked at this school. It was a private school in Kampala, an international school.
Yeah.
And I was saying, George, man, this is it. I'm probably going to walk away here with a very good deal. And, well, they were gracious enough to listen to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a demo for the software. And after that, George, they told me, we will call you.
That's like we hear after interviews.
Yes.
Don't call us.
We will call you. And so I walked out. I was energized.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember, George, that day, I didn't visit any other client.
You knew this is it.
I knew this is it.
Yeah.
So I went back to my room and I sat and now I was waiting for
the
this call.
Yeah, because you knew.
I knew. And George, I spent another 2-3 days and there was no phone call.
Nothing.
But luckily for me, I had been walked through marketing by this. They had trained us.
All right.
So they told us you need to have what you call a pipeline. A pipeline is basically a list of potential clients. So I decided, let me continue.
Yes.
And so, George, I went on knocking on doors, trying to sell this software. And can I shock you?
Yeah.
I made my first sale. It was almost after 3 months
Wait.
of working. That is when I made my first sale.
First
Now, I'm a former banker. Those of us who work in the bank will tell you, we used to receive our salaries on the 24th of every month.
Every month.
Without fail.
Guaranteed. 24th.
And in fact, if 24th was landing on a weekend, George, you would receive it the day earlier.
Yeah.
That is how the system was made. So here I am, 3 months down the line.
Nothing.
I have not made any sale. George, at that point, I already had a family.
Yeah.
And with 2 children by that time.
Yeah.
So I'm still providing for them. Of course, I had some savings.
Uganda,
I left them in
Nairobi.
In Kenya. Yeah. And so they're still expecting me to provide. And I'll talk about it as well, because what I did is one of the mistakes, and I'll talk about the many mistakes, is I didn't adjust my lifestyle. So at that point, my children were going to a private school.
Yeah.
I did not pull them out.
No.
At that time, I used to make fun of it that the town I used to work in, George, and I used to live in a house that I had my own parking. And so when I left my job, it didn't occur to me that I needed to scale down. So I maintained the same house.
Yeah.
So 3 months down the line, I realized I've just been paying expenses. Mark you, George, I'm in a new country.
Yes.
And so the expenses would probably be double because I'm now supporting myself and supporting my family back home.
Sort of like 2 homes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that, I remember now, became my baptism.
Wow.
By fire.
Yeah.
And then, George, something else I had not realized is that to work, you might be shocked, and Kenyans might be shocked to hear this, that to work in even East Africa, you need a work permit.
Yes.
They keep telling us about the East Africa community. It is
that
not operational.
You just need an ID.
So at the border, they will not bother you.
No.
But the moment you want to work in their country, they want to know, who is this?
Wow.
So I started now facing some of those challenges because I realized I needed to get a work permit, and even just getting to know the process was discouraging enough.
Yeah.
And so I remember I called my master franchise holder, and I told him I need to come back. Things are not working out because the sales I was making were not able to sustain me. George, I came back to Kenya. By then, I'd run out of my savings.
Wow.
You can imagine. And so I tried to negotiate to be able to work from Kenya, which they allowed me to do, thank God. But I had to share a territory, which meant I would have to share the returns that I would be making. And that was not easy. But long story short, that was my first experience, George, of what it means to fail. But I say that also because if you ask me now in hindsight, it was not failure.
No.
It was learning.
Yeah.
I learned quite a lot. I learned that I was not prepared. So that became now my motivation to learn what does it take for an entrepreneur to succeed. And I went into learning, self-learning. You know, we were in college, but nobody ever taught us about entrepreneurship.
Yes, no.
I tried to recall my classes, and the only thing I could remember was debit credit. When I remembered my marketing classes, the only thing we did was a marketing plan, but nobody told us how do you go out? How do you get customers? How do you brand yourself? How do you position yourself? What is your unique value proposition? And I'll talk a lot about those things. But in essence, I was not prepared. And so it took me quite a while to get back on my feet, to be honest. And there was a cost to it, George. You know, you lose friends. Family also. I remember some of my family were not happy with my decision to have left employment. And so you can imagine George now going back to this person and telling them, I did not succeed. And you'd imagine the more feedback I got was, we told you. We told you. Know, so, but thank God I had a fairly well support system. Some family members told me, Emmanuel, this is the time to pick yourself up. You cannot regret this decision. You need to move on. And that is what I did, George. And so how I ended up being a business coach is because I spent so much time trying to learn what it takes to succeed as an entrepreneur. And George, the realization I came up with is, wow, if I had this information at the point of exiting, I probably would have had a different result. And so my mission became to help others
not to go through what you went
through. I went through. And so that is what I have been doing majorly since then. But still, I was able to pick myself up, George. I have owned and run several businesses. You know, when you're in the bank, the only thing you're taught how to do is to handle money. So when I restructured myself a few years later, together with some of my former colleagues, we started a microfinance. And so we used to lend money to business people, small business people, because we knew the challenges that they were facing accessing finance, because we were the same ones who used to turn down the applications. We know. So we realized there's a market. So we put our money together, some savings, and we started a microfinance. And George, money is interesting. It sells itself. So, you know, you serve one customer, and before you know it, you've received a phone call. And everybody's asking, hello, are you the guys who give money? And that is how we found ourselves growing. And it was good. It was a good run. I remember at our peak, we had 6 employees, George. Yes, and we had people who were going in the field. They were making these loan applications, and then we would go and, you know, they would go collect the money. So things were okay, George. Until COVID happened. COVID happened, 2020. And that again really faced a challenge, especially when the lockdowns began. So our biggest clientele, George, were informal traders. So I remember the first time, you know, you realize people are not paying the loans anymore. And you keep calling and you keep calling, and you know, the staff are telling you that the clients are saying business is not easy. So one day I went out myself to go and see how are things. And I remember George walking to one of our clients' shops. And you reach the shop and there's a notice on the door, shop to let. This guy has basically closed his business. And then you try and reach him, and he's unreachable. And then that again. And you know, COVID was interesting. Nobody had prepared.
No one.
For COVID.
Hakuna.
So we wondered, what do we do?
Yeah.
So we froze lending, and we decided to focus on collecting back our funds. And it was not easy, George. I had partners. We had investors who had put in money in this business. So what we agreed is, let's first pay back our investors, because reputation in business, George, is very important. So we said, let's first pay back our investors before we continue. So we stopped lending. We took about 8 months trying to collect. And in the meantime, we still have a payroll, George. And so until one day we had to make the painful decision about in 2021 to also close that business. So here I am. Second time. And so after that, George, I went into my prayer closet and asked God, there must be a reason why you are allowing me to experience these things. And that is when my spirit, God talked to me, and he told me, Emmanuel, the issue, and I'll say it here for those of us who are in the finance field, because we keep saying that access to finance is one of the biggest challenges. But actually, George, we were able to debunk that. The issue is not access to finance. The issue most entrepreneurs have is how to manage their businesses. And so God told me, Emmanuel, I want you to go back and help the same people who are unable to pay you back your money.
Go and help them.
Go and help them to be able to manage their businesses. And that is how I got into coaching. I started going back, and I was telling them, I don't even want you to pay back the interest. I'll work with you so that you can pay us back the principal amount. Just pay us back. Forget the interest. But as I worked with them and I saw the results of that, is when I realized, George, this thing actually works. That when you have somebody walking alongside you, holding you accountable, giving you the frameworks and the insights of running a business, you are most likely to succeed. And so that is how I fully got into the world of consulting, coaching, and training. In fact, my first client, now into consulting, George, I'll end that part by that, is I had been invited to give a talk about cash flow management. And George, this organization that had invited me then was not paying me. They told me, Emmanuel, come. We have a group of entrepreneurs. Speak to them about managing their cash flow. And as I prepared for that presentation, George, God told me, Emmanuel, the word in Ecclesiastes came, and it says, whatever your hand findeth to do, do it with all your might. And so I prepared for that presentation, George, as though I was being paid $1 million shillings. And I walked into that session, and I remember delivering that session with everything I had. And George, everybody was quiet. And I was like, is it because I'm not getting it?
What's happening?
What's happening? And the session ended, and people were asked, do you have any questions? A few people asked some questions, and then everybody kept quiet. And so they told me, thank you for coming and speaking to us. And so the session ended. And George, the next morning, very early, I get a phone call. Hello, is this Emmanuel? And I say, yes. And the gentleman tells me, I was in your session yesterday. And he tells me, everything you spoke about, my business has been struggling from it. Could we please meet so that you can help me?
Now an appointment.
Yes. So I went and met this gentleman, George. And by God's grace, George, I walked out of there with a contract, a 6-month contract to consult with him. And in fact, I remember it, and I would even say it here, you know, it was the first official now consulting contract. Because this gentleman agreed to work with me for 6 months. He was paying 100,000 shillings a month. And so I was not there full time. And I realized this model works.
You're free, but still you're earning.
So I worked with him for 6 months, and it was incredible. It was amazing trying to turn around his business. Because he was also facing challenges from post-COVID. And so it was a very interesting project. it even exposed me to further insight. So that is how I got into this field.
Interesting
Yes.
interesting way of you now venturing into something
Yes.
that actually you had no idea. Baptism by fire. Somebody's listening to you this morning, Emmanuel, and
Yes.
they were prepared, maybe in their drafts, desktop and all, the resignation letter. Every
Yes.
time they open their machine,
Yes.
they see their resignation letter. Talk to us briefly, some of the, now with what you have, hindsight and all the information that you have been able to gather,
Yes.
what are some of the prerequisites that I ought to have before I leave my formal employment
Yes.
and venture now out there into entrepreneurship, into business?
Great question, George. And as you've heard from my story, I made the mistakes, and I was able to learn from those mistakes. So that is what I'll be sharing on. So I'll just give, there are very many, George, but allow me to narrow them down.
All right.
The first and foremost thing that you need to do before, if you are in a place where you're considering to transition from employment, is you need to validate this business idea.
Yeah.
You see, George, a lot of us have business ideas. In fact, the world is not short of ideas.
We have ideas. They are overflowing.
They are overflowing. You see something outside and you think, I can do this. So a lot of us have business ideas. But from my experience working now, again, by God's grace, with in the last 11 years, George, I've worked with over 1,500 business owners, either through training mostly, but also through coaching and consulting. And one thing I've realized is a lot of people do not take time to validate their business ideas. What do I mean to validate? In layman terms, to validate a business idea, George, means to confirm that it is a viable business. And there are various stages. So I'll give the first stage. The first stage is what we call idea validation. So under idea validation, you ask yourself a series of questions. And the first and foremost important question I tell entrepreneurs to ask themselves is, what problem are you solving? George, entrepreneurship is about solving problems. A lot of people enter into business for commercial purposes, to make money. George, the first motivation for an entrepreneur is to solve a problem.
Not to make money.
Not to make money. The money follows the solution.
Once you have sorted out and resolved something,
exactly,
money will follow.
You will be rewarded for it. So that is the first mistake we make. We don't focus on what is the problem we are solving. And there are very many problems you can solve in today's world, George. But you not only look at the problem you're solving, and most of the times, especially in coaching, I've realized that many entrepreneurs know the area of their calling. I would also now link it to purpose. So you need to also discover
purpose.
What is your purpose? Because in your purpose and your calling, George, you will discover the problem that God has called you into the world to solve. A lot of people, when I say that, they seem to think it is a complicated issue. No. Let me give you a very simple way of discovering your purpose, George. One of the ways you can discover your purpose is, by example, looking at those things that frustrate you in life. If you think about it, there's something that has frustrated you in life. Two, it also emanates from your passion. There's something that God has put in you that, if you were to think back, you have been passionate about it. I have been passionate about business for a very long time, since the time I was young. And then now there's your passion, there's the frustration, and then more likely than not, then God will put you on a path for you to discover who is facing this problem that you're trying to solve. And that is what we call a customer. So, George, you need a problem, and that problem needs to be faced by a majority of people who we call a customer. Okay? And I can go deeper into that, but at the surface level, it's a problem. And then you get the customer. Now, so in idea validation, what you are trying to discover is, what problem am I solving, and who am I solving it for?
What and who?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is what and who am I solving it for?
Yeah.
And so, of course, the solution now becomes the business. The solution to the problem becomes the business. Okay?
Yeah.
And there are various frameworks. And I'll talk about it in the book that I've written. There are various frameworks that you can be able to use to be able to validate an idea. So, George, once you validated that you have a viable business idea, you now go into market research. And under market research, you go deeper into discovering this customer who has this problem.
Yeah.
Who are they? What are some of the alternatives that they are currently using to solve that problem?
Yeah.
Because, George, the word of God says that there's nothing new under the sun.
Absolutely.
So for every problem, there's already a solution. Maybe it is not as efficient, as effective. And so you have been called to come and fill that gap.
Yeah.
And so under market research, you use various frameworks to now be able to discover what are the current alternatives that your customer is using. And then you can even go forth now to even discover things like, what is your unique value proposition? You see, George, if I'm going to sell outside there, I need to be able to convince my customer that I am unique. And that is what we call unique value proposition.
Yeah.
What is it that sets me apart? Because probably the solution I'm offering is also being offered by someone else, and we call those people competitors. So come up with a unique value proposition and do your research to actually, and research, George, is not done with friends or family. A lot of us, when you want to start businesses,
yes, we speak to friends and family.
Speak to friends and you tell them, I've got this idea. Or sometimes I've seen even people calling me, Emmanuel, where can people make money?
Yeah.
And so that's why you'll see, for example, a lot of ladies end up opening boutiques.
Yes.
Because you're told that there's money there.
Where the money is.
Or you'll end up opening a restaurant, for example, in the name that there's money in food.
People must eat.
Exactly. People must eat. So, but market research will be able to tell you whether you are truly sitting on something that is being faced by a lot of people. Because if you're solving a problem for 2-3 people, George, your business will not be sustainable. And then the last stage, George, is what we now call feasibility assessment. So under feasibility, you're also trying to assess, am I prepared? Is this idea feasible? So you look at, for example, what will it take you to solve that problem? What are the resources that you require? Do you need to build a team, for example? What are the costs of solving that problem? So under feasibility, those are the things now you are trying to figure out. Do you currently have the resources that are required to go out and solve that problem? If you don't, then it means you need to partner with other people, either for resources or either for capacity or for expertise. But in a nutshell, George, those would be the 3 steps, I would say, at very foundational level, that a person who is in employment and looking to transition would need to take before they exit. Before.
So I'm doing all these things while still employed.
Yeah. And under feasibility, George, there's something else that I'm going to say. You also need to have a safety net.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that many of us do not. You remember I gave my story of how I made my first sale after 3 months.
3 months,
I thought I would make it on the first day. So you need to have a safety net. So there are 2 safety nets. 3. Allow me to share 3. The first one is what we call, George, a runway fund. So a runway fund, George, is basically the total expenses that you require to run your business and also your personal life. Okay?
Yes.
So you calculate in a given month, how much money do I need
to run this
to run the business?
Yes.
And also to sustain myself.
Your life.
My life. And so you come up with an amount. So let's give that figure and let's call it 100,000. So what you want to do, George, is to ensure, and this is where sometimes people are not happy with me. you should at least have a runway fund of at least 12 months. 1 year.
I'm not depending on
You're not
this
depending,
business
yes,
for income
for income.
or my sustaining my life.
Exactly. For 1
So whatever happens
year.
within that 1 year,
Yes.
my life continues.
Exactly.
And my business still
Yes.
will continue.
Yes. And I say that because it is important, George. I was not in a good position where you have to now make a decision of moving your children from a private school to another school.
Yeah.
That, especially for us who have families,
It's difficult.
is difficult.
Painful.
Having to downsize your family from the house
They are used
that
to
had
a
a parking.
way. Yeah. Own parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, by that time, the car, we could not even sustain the car. You know, you had to sell the car. So that downsizing sometimes, I tell you, George, the impact of that. So in hindsight, those are some of the mistakes that you made. So have a runway fund equivalent to 12 months of expenses that will basically sustain you and your family and your business. So I like what you said. Assume that you will not make any income from your business
For
that whole year. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the second safety net you need, George, is now what we call an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund, what we are saying here, it is separate. Your emergency fund is mostly for your personal expenses. And many financial advisors talk about having an emergency fund. Because now an emergency fund goes into deeper things like, George, what happens if somebody falls ill? Oh, I didn't say, George, when I was in employment, I had a very good medical cover. I would walk into any private hospital. And shock on me that when you leave employment, they cancel the cover.
You also leave the benefits.
You leave the benefits as we know it.
Wow.
And you realize that...
so it's coming now from the pocket.
It's coming from your pocket. And so that is when you start getting to know how much consultation fees. You know, and I remember, and I say this now on a light note, at some point, you know, the children will start coughing and sneezing, and you know, you ask yourself, you know, can I mix some warm water with some honey?
Some concoctions.
Yet before you could simply just
the
walk.
Slightest,
you just walk into a hospital. So that is what an emergency fund does. An emergency fund kicks in to be able to cater for these expenses that crop up without telling you. Because remember, you operate, you have a family. Anything can happen. You know, there will always be needs in society. And so an emergency fund is critical. And someone is asking, how much do I need in this emergency fund? I would say, go and calculate now your critical expenses. And then multiply that by 6. So have a 6 months emergency fund, George, that is just seated somewhere. And we can go deeper into where to put it. But the thing is, have it somewhere where you're not touching it. But that emergency fund is able to cater for any arising expenses that you had not planned for. And the last safety net, George, is insurance. Have insurance. It's very important. Again, like I've said, a lot of us who are in employment get to enjoy certain benefits, including insurance. But when you come out here, have insurance for your business, for example. Okay. George, I had one of my clients who had imported a lot of goods from China. And then their warehouse burnt down.
They had not insured.
They had not insured. And you know how much the investment was? 12 million shillings. And he looked at it go up in flames. Why? Because nobody told him that it is good to have insurance. So some of us are operating shops, we have not insured them. And especially in this day and age, and just to say, even there are certain risks, political risks, you know, there could be riots. We saw businesses the other time being broken into. So it's good to have insurance because it caters for such things. And then also many people forget things like now paying themselves. Okay, so it's important to pay yourself. But those would be what I would say are very critical. A runway fund, an emergency fund, and insurance.
So far, I like the way you have covered so many aspects of what I I had in mind,
Okay.
and I'm glad. I know there is someone who is watching us, and also partly you have mentioned it in terms of the feasibility
Yes.
and also validation of this business idea. But then again, and I have even received a question here. Someone is asking, can I then be able to run my business and my employment at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
A very critical question that I wish somebody had asked me
Yes,
before I
you-
printed
the
that resignation.
Yeah.
So, George, and as a business coach, I forgot to say, I work mostly with mid-career professionals. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
These are people who have been in employment for over a decade, some 20 years, some 30 years. And they are also at that point like me when they're asking themselves, there must be something more.
Yeah.
So yes, you are right. One of the ways, and because I've worked with many people who tell me, Emmanuel, I don't have the time to be able to come up with this runway fund you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember one of my clients who works for an international organization telling me, Emmanuel, we have been given 6 months notice that the project we're working in is being wrapped up in the next 6 months. And you're telling me to come up with a runway
for 1 year.
So
6 months is just for the emergency.
It's just for the emergency. So you are right.
Yeah.
If you are in employment, while you are undertaking what you are calling now, you are setting what I would say the foundation of your business, which is the validation, the research, and the feasibility assessment. You might want to have what I call alternative streams of income.
Okay.
Alternative streams of income, George, will help you not depend on the business. And let me say this, a lot of us who come out of employment, we expect that our businesses will pay us the same salary
Yes.
our employers who are paying
Are
us.
giving us. Yes.
And so that is the first shock that many of us
Reality check.
get. Can I tell you, I mean, just for purposes of context, when we were running the microfinance business, George, you can imagine I had partners. I was the managing director of this firm. And I remember, even before we had employees, I was the first one. I was employee 001.
Yes.
And I remember us agreeing with our partners because of the business running that my salary would be 15,000 shillings, George.
Yeah.
Per month.
Per month.
That was not even enough to cover my rent.
No. And that's the salary.
And that is the salary.
Wow.
And I remember it was like that for 3 months. Because you see, you don't want to start a business, George, and then everything you are making, you are taking it.
Consuming,
You're consuming it. The business will not grow. So that is why alternative streams of income are important. You need to be able to have something else that can sustain you in the meanwhile. So like you've said, that might mean you stay in employment and operate your business at the beginning as what in Kenya we call a side hustle.
Side hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my only caution is, of course, ensure that the side hustle does not affect your employment. So you need to check with your employer. Some employers, for example, have certain restrictions. Like I would not have been able to run a microfinance as I was working in the bank, as that is what we call a conflict of interest. You ideally should not do the same business that your employer is doing. That might put you in a difficult situation. So you can run it as a side hustle. And when you do that, again, many people now get stuck, George, because at what point do you now say you are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll give a very simple formula. If you start a business as a side hustle and you asking yourself, when do I exit? The first and foremost sign that I say, the sure way to guarantee, George, is when your business is generating 2 times your current monthly income. Okay?
2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
When your business is generating 2 times your current monthly income, then you are probably onto something. And so you should then consider is this the best time to come out and to focus on this business and to be able now to run it. Because at the end of the day, George, you are still the vision bearer.
Yeah, true.
So at some point, the business will require you. And there are very many examples that I share in my book of people who are able to do this before they exited employment. you can be able to start a business as a side hustle, but have alternative streams of income. Something else, George, very important, aligned with that, is especially for us who have families. Please, and I say this with all humility, ensure that your spouse or your partner is aligned for this journey that you are about to go into. This is something that many people, and especially, let me say here, men.
Men, we
you know, men, we take risks.
Yeah.
We take a lot of risks. But when you have a family, I would encourage our viewers, sit your partner down. In my book, I give a framework. I even give guiding questions. Ask your partner questions. What would happen if this business does not succeed? Ensure that you have their support. It's very difficult, George, I would say, to run a business without a support structure. It is very difficult. So have your spouse aligned in terms of supporting you, because there are times when you will need them. When when the business is not,
days are tough.
When the days are tough,
it's end month.
Yes,
and things are not.
You need to go back. But also maybe it might mean also telling them, can we downscale as this business is growing? Can we give the business time?
Yes, give the business time
to grow. So that requires your spouse. So
buy into your
they must.
vision.
Yes, it's very important. You don't want to put them in a situation where now their life is having to change all of a sudden because you have made a decision to leave employment and go into entrepreneurship. Maybe you used to have 2 cars. Now you're telling madam, we need to sell one.
We need to,
or maybe, you need to you used to live in a certain neighborhood and now you're having to move somewhere else. So those are the things I would say that are very critical.
Because time is now far much gone, but I'm glad what we have been able to cover. Let's talk about the book that you keep referring to, because I think it's something that we need, especially those of us who are thinking of venturing out now from employment to entrepreneurship. And maybe where can we get it? And maybe the title.
So I've been writing a book. In fact, it was very good that I got this invitation. I've been writing a book, and the book is titled Exit Strategy.
Exit Strategy.
Exit Strategy. The subtitle is The Complete Guide to Entrepreneurship for Mid-Career Professionals. And allow me just a few seconds to also debunk what is entrepreneurship. And there are levels to entrepreneurship, George. Now, for us who are in employment and we are thinking of transitioning, I would say the basic level of entrepreneurship a lot of us walk into is what we call self-employment. So self-employment means, George, that you are employed as a graphic designer by a company, and you leave your employer to go and offer graphic design services to other organizations. That is self-employment. You have basically packaged your expertise and you have been able to go and brand yourself and offer the same services. The second level now, George, is where you're a business owner. So a business owner means, let me use the same example of a graphic designer. I have realized now that my business is growing and I'm getting more clients than I can handle, because with self-employment, there are limitations. You are one person, you only have 24 hours in a day. You also don't work 24 hours.
You can only do so much.
You can only do so much. So you decide, let me hire other graphic designers to be able to serve my clients. So that is now we are saying you own a business, because now there are some structures that you must put in, hiring people, and I talk about it in the book. And then the last one now, which many of us love, is entrepreneur. Now at entrepreneur level, George, I tell you, is the level you've reached where you do not have to work in your business. And that level, I tell you, is a sweet spot, George, where you have put in the systems, the structures, and the processes for your business to run without you. And many people get stuck at business owner level. Because business owner level means, like myself or even self-employed. I told you I was working in Uganda. It meant every time I came back to Kenya to visit my family, George, my business stopped. Every time I was unwell, my business stopped. So you want to quickly move from self-employment to business owner. to entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is now where you don't have to go to your business even on a day-to-day.
But it is running.
But it is running.
Yeah.
Okay? So the book is called Exit Strategy. And in that book, I give, it's basically 15 chapters. And I break it down, just like I have, right from foundation.
Yeah.
What do you need pre-exit?
Yeah.
Okay? And then now post-exit. So it is not even, I call it a workbook. Okay?
Yeah.
So exit strategy is a workbook because it's supposed to be a companion for you. I remember my editor asking me, Emmanuel, this book is too long. And I told them it's because it's not just a book to read.
No.
You use it as a workbook as you go about building this business. So exit strategy right now is already out. I have produced it as a flip book.
Yeah.
It's a PDF ebook.
Yeah.
So very soon it's currently being reviewed by Amazon. So I'm publishing it on Amazon Kindle. I opted to do that way because I want to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And so on Amazon Kindle, you can be able to get it. But I do have the flip book or the ebook, as we call it.
Yeah.
And so I'll be sharing my contacts.
Yeah, you can.
And those who are looking to go through that journey can reach out.
Yeah.
And I can be able to share with them the book.
All right.
Because for me also, I don't want you just to read the book. If possible, you can read it, but let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because remember, I'm a coach. So even when you take the book, there are things inside there that you'll still be asking yourself, how do you go about this?
Yeah.
So that is where a business coach comes in.
All right.
So I can share my contacts.
Yes, you can. How to get in touch with you.
Okay. So viewers, you can reach me on 0755 826 974. 0755 826 974.
Right.
And so I'll be able to, and that number is on WhatsApp. Just drop me a message and tell me you're interested in exit strategy. The book is called Exit Strategy. And I'll be able to share, not only share with you a copy, but because today you've invited me here, George, for anybody who reaches out to me and they tell me they had me on Hope TV, I will give them a complimentary discovery session.
Awesome.
So I will jump on a call, and thank God to technology. We will do it online. So we will set up a Zoom call, and I'll give them 30 minutes. Complimentary.
Wow, complimentary.
Yes,
30 minutes.
30 minutes
of a business coach.
Yes,
top-notch business coach. Don't joke.
Just to hear from them, and then now talk to them about the book and how to use it as a workbook. Yes, George.
Awesome.
Yes.
Wow, Emmanuel, thank you. That has been, fulfilling, eye-opening, challenging also, because some of us, we think it's a walk in the park. All I need to do is have that resignation, send it, I'm out of that door ASAP. And I think that now, just because I have left, it will be easy because maybe I feel, oh, my boss is toxic. Oh, this place is very toxic. Oh, I'm not getting the promotion. I've plateaued. Like also you said at some point. But then again, we are now getting to learn. It's not about those feelings. There is more to it than just that.
And don't burn bridges also.
Oh, yes.
Many of us burn bridges.
Yes, we do.
When we are leaving employment. I can tell you, it will work against you. Most of the times I've been able to go back to my former employer, and I've been able to do one or two things. And even I told you, we started a business with some of my former colleagues. So if I had burned bridges, I would not have been able to do that.
All right. Last one before we go. This is very insightful. How does one establish credibility when you have started the business and have no references or testimonials?
Wonderful question. This is what I will say. And for mid-career professionals, many of you think that credibility means when you walk out here and have actual paying customers. Let me debunk that. Credibility, George, is the sum total of your experiences. So I tell mid-career professionals getting into entrepreneurship, use your sum total experience for credibility. And what you can even do is call upon some of your former colleagues to write reference letters for you.
Okay.
Some of us, when we are working, we also work with clients. Get the client to write for you a reference letter.
Yeah.
That is what builds credibility for you as an entrepreneur. It's not necessarily just about you when you're out here, but the 10, 20, 15 years you have been working, George, that is already credibility. A lot of people can say a lot of things about you already as an employee. So you can use that as an entrepreneur, as a self-employed professional, a business owner, and an entrepreneur.
Emmanuel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate your feedback, appreciate your wisdom and knowledge when it comes to exit strategy.
Thank you.
And actually, this is the number you need, 0755-826974. And yes, talk to him and tell him, I saw you, I heard you on Hope TV, and then you pick up that conversation with him as well. Thank you so much. You can share the link with someone you feel they need to watch this particular episode as they are preparing for that exit strategy. From us, thank you so very much for your company. Thank you for your time, for everyone who has made this production a success. We wish you a blessed and a fruitful day ahead. My name is George Gishoro. Kwaheri for now.